good morning, and good morning. How are you? Today is, wow, Wednesday. Is the year not going fast? I'm starting to look like we're almost out of 22, and then 23, and then it'll be 24 and 25. We just keep going, going, going. We've been out of 22, but it seems like we just left 22. That's why I said 22. Unbelievable. I'm just swimming in what do I have to do? How swift am I? How can I get through all that I feel I need to do? I keep feeling that I'm behind no matter what I do. And I do a lot of work, but I feel like I have so much more work to do. Is that how you feel? It's absolutely an interesting kind of way of life to live. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning. How are you? Today our word, I had to tell Debbie the word right away. Today our word is is and for some reason I can't get it out. It's alacrity. I know the word alacrity. And alacrity is when we are swift. We are fast. Debbie is fast. If y'all know her, she is very, very fast. But I'm just having a day that I don't know. I just had so much stuff I had to get done before I came on this morning. And so I'm kind of like here snarled, here, and here. But I'm good. Debbie, how you doing? Tell me how you're doing this morning. I have my little coffee. I did get that done when I got dressed. I can't come out here and I'm not dressed. And I just put on my lipstick. So I'm ready for the day as much as I'm going to be ready. Only thing I didn't put on, and you all don't know this, but every day I put on perfume. For some reason, I had to put on perfume before I come online, but I didn't get it on today. So that may be my off. I'm doing great. Yeah, I know you're doing great always. So it talks about this whole thing of being, fast and speedy. And I think our world is fast and speedy. Do you not? I think we have so much going on every day, all day, that when we lay down at night, we don't rest well. I know I don't. I'm going to tell you, that's me. That's my statement. I always feel that, okay, in the morning I have to do this and this and this. And I am a person who schedules things. So I have a lot on my schedule, a board meeting, choir rehearsal. I get that in, church services, and then all the community stuff that I do, and then appointments from my company. I'm just busy. So I look at this whole idea of of just being where I am at the time and what am I doing and am I on time and am I accurate? And I try to be. I really do. I have a limerick for you this morning. I know Debbie likes little things that are kind of charming in terms of how the words go together. And it says a young motorist was arrested for habitual speeding. He earnestly pled his case with the wizened old judge. Oh, but judge, you just don't know my ways. It's my quickness that earns the most praise. And the judge replied, you'll have patience, I trust, but now we will do just. See how fast you can do 30 days. We don't know because sometimes our quickness has consequences. Okay. We're not as prepared as we think we are. And I admit that sometimes I do so many other things that I'm not as equipped or prepared as I should be. I know the information and I probably have the information, but because I've layered it up with other things, I kind of get sidetracked. Is that you? Do you ever get sidetracked when you come? It says, sounds like a full time job to me. Yeah, I retired from federal service at the end of 2014. So we're coming up on at the end of this year to be 9 years since I retired, and a good 8.5 years I've been doing Winnie and Associates, and I'm busy. And I find that the longer you're around and people know of you, the busier you become. And so that's my busy, you know. So I look at my alacrity and I ask myself, am I accurate? Am I on time? Am I doing all these things that says all these things about who we are when we get them done? Because I think in my little session this morning, I wrote up that when we look at alacrity, we really are looking at the swiftness of our behavior, doing things for others, being mindful of keeping ourselves in preparation mode. Do we do that? Some of us do, some of us don't. Some of us don't. But anyway, we're going to get down to it. And I found some more glasses. I'm still looking for my real impressive glasses that I love. I think somebody took them, probably left them someplace, and no one handed them back to me because people know when they're yours. But they're the glasses with the fancy little, they have the cat eyes and they go high on the left and right. I don't know where they are. And I usually keep track of my glasses, but that pair for some reason disappeared. But anyway, here we go. Alacrity. It says it's brisk and cheerful readiness. Brisk and cheerful readiness. Now, I know some of you and what you do during your day, you think you're brisk. You may not be cheerful about it. Let's face it. Sometimes we're brisk, but we don't, it doesn't say that we're always cheerful. So do we really have this behavior of alacrity? Well, I feel that most of the time I do, but sometimes I don't. So alacrity really talks about it being eagerness, willingness, and I fit that. Readiness. Now sometimes I may fall a little shy, okay? Ardor, fervor, enthusiasm. If I take on a project, I'm going to be enthusiastic about it. That's how I look at it. It says that there might be keenness, joyousness, liveliness, zeal. I believe that zeal is good. Promptness. Now that's where I fall down just a little bit. I may be 2 minutes late, 1 minute, 2 minutes. I may be fashion late, as they call it. That's a fashion late, meaning that you didn't not show up, you showed up, and that you came and you were good once you got there, but you had to get there. So that 1 or 2 minutes. And I'm always saying I got to get this done before this time. And most of the time I get it, but occasionally my 1 and 2 minute thing is not right. It says swiftness, dispatch, meaning you dispatch yourself on a project and that you would have speed in doing it. So when I break this word of alacrity down, I break it down starting with my A. And my A says that I'm alert, that I should be, that if we're in a mode of alacrity, then we're going to have alertness. We need to be alert. And it says quick to notice anything that's unusual and, potentially dangerous or difficult circumstances. We must be vigilant. That's what it discusses. Good morning, Rhoda. How are you? Good to see you in the place. Attention. That's really good, Debbie. Attention. We must be attentive. We must be. But occasionally we run short of that. Athletic. Oh my goodness, that's funny. We may have to put on some running sneakers, Debbie. I don't know. This Sunday coming, is it this Sunday? Yeah, I think this Sunday coming, I'm going to do the 5K walk for Alzheimer's. I don't know how swift I will be, but I'm a good walker though. So hopefully I'll be able to get it out there and get my legs up under me and go where I need to go. But when I break the word down, I come up with, I need to be alert. Debbie said attention and athletic. But she said, yes, I have. So when my alertness says I'm quick to notice this unusual circumstances. So I'm looking at how vigilant am I? How am I? Or hyper vigilant, meaning I'm overextended, I'm everywhere. It says also, am I wide awake? How many of us do things and we're not really wide awake? Watchful. It always got me, and I never could do it, would be the person that takes on a nighttime job where their job is just to watch a building or watch over a particular, occasion that's going on. I'd be the one, as soon as I get bored, I'd be slumped. Okay, I'd be slumped over. That's why it would be hard for me to be, and I've been a juror, so if the case I had went really fast, and they convicted the young man to, I think, 35 years. Um, and I guess I was a part of that process. But it went so fast, I didn't, because there was a lot of evidence, it was a lot to pay attention to. But if it was something that was just pulling on my sleep, I probably would be asleep in the jury box, but that would be terrible. Attitude. I think attitude is certainly important when you're really looking at the whole idea of being alert, and having alacrity. When I move on in the word, I talk about liveliness. How many of us are lively when we do our daily jobs, our work? Some of us aren't. Some of us are very disgruntled, or we're very unpleasant people to be around for whatever the reasons. We may have gotten up on the wrong side of the bed. Somebody may have had a bad conversation, or received a bad phone call or something before we actually presented where we were supposed to go. And so we bring with us however we're feeling. Okay. I try to, as best I can, clear my head of things before I'm going, into a situation that requires me to really be alert and quick, and having this thing called, just on point. Sometimes we end up not being on point because we are distracted. We're distracted. So I say lively and laughter. I think laughter is really good. Or loud. I think laughter, well, I don't know about the loudest, but the laughter for me really fits well. It says lively is the quality of being outgoing, energetic, and enthusiastic. I think I fit that most of the time. If I'm in my element of knowing what I'm doing and feeling that the instructions were clear of what needed to be done, I'm good. Now, if it's the instructions are kind of in jumbled up, then I might have an issue, of how to get it done. And because that means then we have to coordinate whoever else is working this particular project or whatever's going on. How do we get all on one accord where we can do what we're supposed to do? So liveliness talks about the brightness that we bring if we're vigorous about it. It says vibrancy, vitality, cheerfulness. There's that word again, cheerfulness, animation. I remember Debbie used to be really animated. I don't know about anybody else, but if you've ever seen a person that comes with animation, you just expect them to be able to, now I know I'm a person that use my hands, but they may use their hands, their feet, their body. It may use their eyes. They may give you a look like, you want this win? Have you ever worked with somebody who says, you want this win? Oh no, it won't be done by then. And they turn and do what else they were already doing. I've worked with those people, and they're very funny, but there's that laughter, but they're also telling you that you're not going to let your problem become their problem. To me, that's orderly. That makes sense. Also, when you have this thing called alacrity, it talks about ardor. It says enthusiasm or passion. I think when you're enthusiastic or passionate about a particular thing or person, a project, an occasion, you go all out. You're ready. You get ready for that occasion, or at least you're supposed to. Now I've worked with some people who ended up where they passed on whatever they thought that was in their head to you, but you still didn't get it. Okay. And so you can't be that enthusiastic or passionate about something little of or less of than what you should. Load of work. Yes, that's right. That's a good one. Having a load of work. Because sometimes we do have a load of work. But ardor talks about you having the ability to do what you're doing. The emotional state is there for what you're doing. That there's energy, that you're eager, that there's intensity on your part. You intend to bring it together. You intend to do the work that's required, and you do it with gusto. How many of us do things with gusto? You know, I have done things where I've done them so hard and so straight up where I wasn't eating. I barely got anything in to drink. And within that, say, 6, 8 hour period to get a project done, the project's done well, but I'm wiped out. I am done. I am in the bed needing, probably attention myself, but the project was important enough to make sure that I did what I needed to do. So I came intentionally with the need to get it done right. Period. And sometimes we need to look at what we take on. Sometimes my C really speaks to cheerfulness. How cheerful are we? I enjoy doing projects. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I bring my alacrity with me every single time that I have to do a project with somebody, and it's for a good cause. The need is there, and then I use my enthusiasm to drum up more people to help. You know, our church always probably for maybe a good 5, 6 years we put on the pink tea, and the pink tea I chaired, and we did good every single year. We would raise anywhere between $5,000 and $13,000 for cancer, for breast cancer awareness. So if the intention is there, it will work. But you need leaders and you need people that are really looking at how do we get this team of people to work on one area that brings light, that shines bright. So we have clarity, choose or choice, also change, charge, and caring. I think all those things are necessary. When you're doing a project, you need all of those things. You need people that care about the project, are willing to take charge, are willing to take changes, because let's face it, what you start with maybe not what you ended with in terms of the instructions, because they may change according to other people needing the space you're in and you're sharing it, or the time has changed, or the people are changed, or the money changed. How much money is being allowed for this project. If that changes, maybe it goes down in terms of what was originally estimated for. All those things can do consultation. That's good, Debbie, because sometimes we need to go back and consult again with however we're involved on projects to realize the importance of them. I bring my cheerfulness. Now that doesn't say I stay cheerful the entire project, but it's intended that I do. But sometimes we get sidetracks with things that give us some moaning and groaning before we actually get back to growing it to completion. Creativity, that's really good too, Debbie. Being creative. Caring was once again, Ardelia was really good. Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody that's around. I see some folks that are there. So I have cheerfulness. This is the quality, state of being noticeably happy and optimistic. That's what I want to be if I'm going to do something. I want to be noticeably. It says we're going to be cheery and blithe, buoyant, sunny, jolly, joyful, happy, and gay. I want to be all of that if I'm doing a project that's requiring my time. Good morning, Maurice. Oh, confident. Oh, come on now. When you are doing work, you want to be confident in what you're doing. Good morning to you, Maurice. Incidentally, Maurice was the initial spokesperson in our play that we did Sunday called Glory Train. If you all, I mentioned it on Monday, but if you all can get a chance to go online on our YouTube channel under Greater Little Rock Baptist Church, it is so well done. It is absolutely hilarious. Debbie, I know you would love it. I know you would. Um, but anyway, when I move on in my word of our next word I have is readiness. How many of us, good morning, Evangelist Connie, how are you? How many of us are ready for what comes at us? How many of us? Sometimes we say we are, but we're not. Alacrity says that we should be ready. Before we step out, we should be ready to do whatever is coming for us to complete whatever we've started. My mother used to say, never start anything that you're not going to complete, you know. And I think most of my life I've lived like that, except for these 3 books that I have. That's the only thing I cannot get back to. I can't get back to the 3 books that I have to finish, but if the Lord says so, I will finish them. But at least He started me, and I've implanted the ideas and the concepts, so I know what I need to do. And every day I'm given more and more information about what needs to be done by me. After cheerfulness, we go to readiness. And once again, are we ready to take on things? Are we prepared? Do we look at what it is that we're dealing with? We should have revved up. Yes, we need to be revved up. We do. And many of us are. We take on things that some of us have taken on things nobody else would take. We've made, things that were dark that we started with into being visibly seen as a delight, only because we took it on. But we have to take it on in such a way that it makes sense, not just that we decided to take it on, but what makes sense to make it work. And it says that readiness is the state of being fully prepared for something. So there's that word again. Alacrity says that we must be prepared. Are we prepared? And do we bring our brightness to it? Our readiness to it? Do we? Resolution. Oh, that's really good. I love that word, because resolution talks about, getting to the point where it's been resolved. Whatever it is that we started it's been resolved. Readiness talks about being prepared, which is preparedness, fitness, at the ready, it says, at the ready, available, accessible, primed. I like that word, primed. I'm primed to do it. Prepared and standing by, ready, standing by. And reality, that's good. We sometimes do need to know what is the reality, because some people have probably taken on projects that no one thought there could ever be a solution or a resolution for it, and they got it done. But those are the people that probably, what Debbie said earlier, brought their creativity, thought outside the box, looked at it according to the way no one else had looked at it. Because you have to put a set of eyes and then some what I would call some head muscle on it to make it say, how can this work? One of the things my college professor always used to tell us as students was to look at the end while you're still at the beginning. Look at the end and figure out what is in the ending, what should be there. How many, how much money, how long will it take? What are the areas that must be covered? What areas can be, laid back to later on, or even added after the initial project is done? He always used to say, as if we were to construct it, even though it wasn't built yet, construct it in our head, put it on paper, and therefore you can imagine what it should look like. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So that would be the readiness. How do you prepare for something that, eventually will become the reality? Thank you, Ardelia. How do you do that? You have to look at it and examine the possibilities, almost like almost like a prototype. What will this look like? I never had a scientific mind. Always had analytical. I analyzed something. And I remember my science professors would always say, don't analyze it until you first have looked at it scientifically. You first must figure out what can go together, what will go together before you're already analyzing how well it went. First, you have to identify what needs to be in the core of it, and then you build out. Oh, they get me every time. I mean, I would say, but I'm thinking about the usefulness of it. They say that well, first must be built before you can look at the usefulness of it. Makes sense, right? Who knew? Reality, realism. Okay, those are really good. When I move on in our word of alacrity, um, it's individualized. I think we all bring our own alacrity to whatever we're doing. We bring it. It's us. It's not someone else. It's like, what do we bring when we go to work on a project? You know, what do we do? What is needed? We look at everything. We should. Let's put it that way. We should. We look at all the things that we need to carry with us when we're going to take on a project. You know, before I could ever get back to writing the book, I have to go back and renew myself and refamiliarize myself with what the outline was. What was the outline? What were the characters? What were they doing and all that? So then I can get back in it. So I have to go back and re-prepare for something at one time I was better prepared for. There you go. Initiate and insight. Okay, Debbie. Yes, individualized, I said. You know, when we bring our own alacrity, we really are looking at it's an individualized thought. It's who we are. It's who you are. It's not who I am to you. It's who you are to the project or to the people that you're working with things on. So it says it's a single human being as distinguished from a group. Even though the group may be working on it, singly, we're all having our own thoughts. So that's when you have to do that consultation that Debbie was talking about, to talk about the collective body and how they can get done to the point where there's a resolution, you know, where there's a solution, where there's a completion, you know, all of those things apply. So the individual might go in as the lone wolf, the personal subscriber, the original identifier, the particular note taker and summation person, the one who is separated from the group only to join the group. You know, it says they may be the single person, the sole person, and the specific person, but they need assistance. And so that's when they go into bringing their individualizations into multiplying as a group and making it work. I love this next word I used, only because we don't think about ourselves as being timed individuals, but we are. So I use timing in my word as my second to my last letter in my word, alacrity. It talks about timing. Timing is everything. I don't care what anybody says. You know, a lot of times we miss things. Good morning, Miss Rosie. How are you? Good to see you in the space. Today our word is alacrity. And alacrity means that, you know, you're bringing some brisk and cheerful readiness to whatever you're doing. And I know that your family's already told me that you do that. So I believe that you know what alacrity is all about. But timing being something that, to me, it marks who we are, you know, being on time. Sometimes we miss things, dangerous things, only because our timing was a little off. So sometimes timing plays in our favor. It's good for us, you know, because we might be, you know, 2 minutes from, you know, entering a crime scene, and we were 2 minutes later. So sometimes being a little late is your saving grace, whereas you're being on time for something may cut it off. But for the most part, we should be on time. We should be. But sometimes timing, it says, but timing is something, it's the choice and our judgment or the control when something should be done. Now we realize that we all live on our own personal biological clocks and our schedules to do everything. We maybe get up at the same time every morning without an alarm. I don't know. Does anybody do that? Trust. That's good, Debbie. How many of us get up without an alarm clock? I don't even need one, but I set it anyway, just in case I went down to the deepest part of REM, and because I was exhausted, and then I wake up. But for the most part, I don't need it as probably other people do. Some people are hard sleepers. I'm not, so I don't need it as much, but I still have one. But timing is a choice, judgment, or control when something should be done. It's when we're organized. Now, I consider myself to be fairly organized. I never come before you and I don't have my work. Now, I may be thinking about something that went wrong. It might be, losing someone or being concerned that what I'm doing now is real close to something else that I'm doing immediately after. Yesterday it was my car. So you never know. You never know what's going to pull you off your timing a little bit. But it says the timing is when things are set up. It could be the schedule itself. Sometimes, okay, that's right, because sometimes we're on time and we have timing, and sometimes we're not. It says it may be our arrangements. How did we arrange our day? I've sometimes used, different vendors and working with me, and I tell them what time they have to be there. Timing is important. So you have to be on time to do the job that I requested of you. What time you get there, what time, you're ready to serve whatever it is. And then, of course, breaking it down to make sure we're on time in order to get back our deposits, if that's the kind of events that we're doing. So it also says that timing is our measurement. How many of us look at our lives of things that we have to do is we measure it in time. We're measured in time. How long we've been here, that's our age, that's timing. What we have to do by a certain date, that's timing. Where we have to be, that's timing. Time we have to show up, that's timing. And think, oh, that's good, Debbie. What do we think about? We should be thinking, and it says that also once we realize our measure in timing, we also have an opportunity to maybe fix it, either fix it in our memory and by writing it down. It may be the notifications on your phone or your watch that just says there's something that needs to be done within 10 minutes or within 2 hours or tomorrow morning by 8. Those are the kind of things that I use. My notifications, I like them. I do. Then my why, what should you write for your why? What would you write for your why of alacrity? An alacrity member is the brisk and cheerful readiness of us. What would you write for your why? Anybody? Debbie, you always have words. Debbie comes with words. We always went to Debbie for any word that we needed when we worked in New York. Debbie, what word we use here? Or she'd correct things for us. Debbie, you got a why for me? I'm in this bright red today. I thought I'd cheer myself. Yearn. That's good. That's a good why, because sometimes we yearn to do projects in our readiness. Well, for my why, I put yes. I believe that if you're really paying attention to you carrying around this thing, that we look at our alacrity, that means we've said yes to something. We've said yes in order to do projects, in order to be involved in things, in order to make dates and be where we're supposed to be on time. We've said yes to some people, we've said yes to ourselves. And so what is yes? And it says it's used to give an affirmative response. We've responded to somebody or something or to ourselves that we're going to get something done. And so it says yes talks about it being all right, being very well, and saying, of course, sure, I will do it. Certainly. How many of us have said certainly? Somebody asked me would I do something last night, and I said, surely, I will. So it says absolutely, indeed, affirmative, agreed, meaning that you have a gentle person's agreement, okay, that you're going to do something. How many of you say Roger that or Roger? It's a form of yes. It's a form of yes. Uh-huh. I'm a good one to say uh-huh. Okay. And then that means I'm going to do it. I've committed to it. And then the last one says, okay. Most of us have said, okay. That's probably the most used acknowledgement of, yes, I will do something. So when we really look at alacrity, which is our brisk and cheerfulness to get involved in doing certain things, that's something we bring with us. We don't go there wherever we've committed to going and find it there. We bring it with us if we can, if it's a part of us, if it's a part of who we are. So therefore, when I break my word back down and I put it all together, that says when I use who I am and bringing my alacrity to different projects and involvement with different people, I'm looking at the fact that I must be alert. I must find liveliness in it. I must have ardor and some form of enthusiasm about something. I find cheerfulness in things, even when they're sad. I find cheerfulness in it, that I know that's a refuge of comfort. That's how I comfort myself. Say, I know this is grave that I'm going through. I know this is tough, or I know that this is tough for somebody else, but I'm going with it. I'm going with it, and I'm going to be there. I'm going to be present. It also talks about me needing to remain ready and having my individualized thoughts that I can contribute to others on how things must get done. So therefore, I take my individualness into a group, and we work together to form what will give us that resolution that somebody said earlier. And then we're going to do it in a timely manner. That's part of what we bring when we're looking at, our time and how we deal with others. And finally, we've said yes. We said yes. When you say yes, keep your word. Don't say yes and you don't mean yes. And I've had people do that where they said, oh, yeah, I told you, yeah, I was going to do that, but something came up. I know something's always going to come up, but I try, that's just me personally, I try to keep my yeses to remain a yes. And I tell you, if I have a lot of work to do, I will. It says me, Roger that. That's right, Roger that. Some of us do say Roger that. But listen, I want you to really look at the fact of when you go do projects, do you take with you alacrity, which is brisk and cheerful readiness? Do you take it? And maybe if you don't, maybe you need to, usher it in, look at, the good of what you're doing, and not really expect, because I try not to expect anything other than thanks from people. That's it. I'm not looking for anything else, unless we agreed, contractually that it's something that I'm being paid for. Other than that, you give me a thank you and a smile, we're good. We're going to get the work done together, together. But listen, I know you're going to have a wonderful day. You're going to look at how you're going to bring alacrity with you wherever you're going to go. If you're going to involve yourself in something, bring that with you. Bring some enthusiasm, some briskness, some eagerness to work on whatever it is you've agreed to work on. And if it's just you by yourself, well, then you can always please yourself. You can sit down when you want to. You can sit down. You can take a break. You can go, if you smoke, you can take a smoke. I don't smoke. You can swear if you want to swear. It's your project. So you do it the way you want to do. But I want you to have a wonderful day. I'm going to see you on Friday. This week has gone really, really fast. We're already out of the month of September. I just can't believe it. Just seemed like we just came in with the year. So I'm not complaining because I'm still here. Not complaining. I'm just saying, I think I told you about that song, Time is Winding Up. It won't be long. It won't be long. I look at that song as an anthem to, it plays in the back of my head that that's how I push myself to say, okay, what am I doing today? How many things do I need to do? All those, that's how I live my life. I live my life like that. So when I leave here for good, I'm always looking at ahead of time. Did I do as much as I could, the best as I could? That's how I live my life. But listen, you live your life well these next couple of days until I see you again on Friday. Bring a friend. If you don't do anything else, thank you, Rhoda. Thank you so much. Thank you, Evangelist. Thank you, Debbie and Maurice and Ardelia and whoever else came in that I didn't see, because I know there's other people. When I look at the videos later on, I see that there were other people that were there. Hey, Lisa, how are you? We're getting ready to end now, but you can come back and look at it later. Forget my first minute. I was just running, thinking of all the things that I had to do today. So today I started kind of funny, but I'm good. I am good. Glad you were able to make it in. You all have a wonderful day. Love you guys very much. If you don't do anything else, you don't have to pay me. But if you would just hit that share button, that would be so wonderful. Okay. Take care of yourselves. All right. Love you guys. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good day.